everybody. How's everybody doing out there on YouTube? So I figured this first time I've got like random hair driving me crazy there. This is the first time I have had any time to myself here in a while. My dad was in town and we went to SAFF, which was the first time I ever went because I don't, we've only been in this area for a little less than 2 years. But SAFF is it's a fiber festival in Asheville, and it stands for South Appalachian Fiber Fest, maybe? Animal and Fiber. I feel it's one of those things that never is what the words that I think they are, but it's a really big national level fiber festival in just south of Asheville, North Carolina, which isn't too far from us. It's just like a couple hours. So my dad came up, and he is like Mr. Convention. He goes to conventions and things he's interested in, and so I'm glad he went with me because I normally get overwhelmed by that many people in that small of a space. So it was good to have Dad to go. So we walked around and had fun. And so we had that, and then we had Halloween, which, as you can see, it looks like a fiber business and like Halloween candy and Michael Myers mask and like little girl clothes. Everything's exploded all over the house. So let me show you one fun thing about SAFF is there's lots of vendors, and I of course have kind of my own vendors that I'm particular about that I use for my business, but I had some special like things I was looking for. I do a lot of like yarn lines for people, so I was on a secret mission to acquire some natural Shetland. So this is like a light gray, and I got this from, oh man, I've forgotten the name of the farm. I will add it to the show links, but it's got some really pretty, very clean, super soft gray Shetland. And I also got this sort of tanny, browny colored one that is also Shetland from the same farm, and it's super nice quality. And I'm working on, like I said, this is a big project for a custom yarn line for a business out of Atlanta that is specializing in different things and wanted their own yarn line, and they wanted it to be not dyed, but like natural colors. So believe it or not, it was harder to find those than you would think, because I wanted to keep them all like the same sheep, and we were originally looking at Corridel, but it was hard, like finding the gray was hard. So we went with Shetland because I had this pretty gray, so I'm really excited about that. So I did find that at SAFF, so I will add the show notes on where that came from. And then I also got these fun, let's see how my little scale is here, the Sari silk fiber, which I don't know, I used to, when I first came out with like a collection line, I had some yarn made out of this. And let's see, these are a little over 4, but it was one of those things that was kind of hard to find. Like I'd originally gotten it from Paradise Fibers, which isn't a like real legit wholesale supplier by any means, so it was kind of too expensive for me to be able to use it in my business. So I was really happy that I found somebody was having a great deal on it there, and it was Hippie Chicks. Yeah, here we go. Hippie Chicks Fiber Arts, and she had some really good prices. I don't know if they were just like show prices for being at SAFF, but I wanted to do some fun Christmas stuff, so I got a whole bunch of that. So I will, like I said, if I can find it at prices that I can afford to, pass along, then I will keep doing that. And I also got to meet, as y'all know, I'm a Spinolution dealer. It was fun. I got to take my, sorry, this is like so over my head. I got to meet Elizabeth Taylor, which it's so fun to say. I got to meet Elizabeth Taylor because that's one of my favorite old-timey actresses. But this Elizabeth Taylor is of the Spotted Circus, and she is also a Spinolution dealer, but she has a much more established like booth business than I do, where I think she had like a fancy truck thing and drives around and goes to all the different fiber festivals and whatever, which those of you who follow Crafty Housewife Yarns knows that that's not really our business plan, because I have little children and I'm lazy. So that's not what we do. But she had just beautiful things. So I, of course, got a couple braids from her, and I took my bullfrog because she hadn't gotten to see that yet because it's a newer wheel and not that many people have it. And she had a worker bee there, which I hadn't gotten to see. So I hung out at her booth and we talked to people and spun yarn, and I have dirt on my face. So what happens when you don't actually look at yourself in the mirror until you're like on camera, and then you're like, I look funny. But so these were from Elizabeth Taylor, and they are a Merino Firestar blend. And I think the color is Moonshine, which of course is appropriate considering I live in the Smoky Mountains. So anyhow, that was my big haul from SAFF, and so now let's go spin some yarn. Like I said, I'm procrastinating picking up. So Dad was here, so I have like the dirty sheets and towels, and then it was Halloween, so we had all the Halloween stuff, and let me get the camera where you can see what I'm doing. Alrighty. So what I am working on currently, oh, and I'm not drinking gin. It is early in the morning, so I just went to Target instead of, so I'm doing like the usual mom stuff here. But I'm going to put this on about the third one up. I'm adjusting the ratio. And this is the bullfrog. And what I'm doing here is I'm finishing out some of this really pretty merino. And this is going to be my usual 2-ply yarn. And let me get this adjusted. So I'm spinning the individual singles like pretty thin. And of course this is the obnoxious pink I am known for. But I have pulled this merino down into pretty small strips. And somebody asked me the other day if I mainly did woolen or worsted, and I definitely, according to the issue of Ply magazine I read, would be what is considered a semi-spinner, which I guess is kind of halfway in between both. I can do a more traditional worsted spin is where you kind of pull it forward, and pull back, and it's a bit more compact. So it's a pulling forward, whereas the long draw is more, it's kind of hard to do on these merino, like pull back. And I usually spin somewhere kind of in the middle, where I'm kind of pulling forward and smoothing it down while pulling it back, as you see here. And I like doing it that way because I feel like it gives you kind of a woolen twisted look to it, and it's easy and fun to get thin. But I do kind of, especially with this merino, with doing that little bit of that forward, I feel like I'm able to keep it a bit more compact. So that's just me. And another thing I'm doing with these is I like to add in, and especially if it's custom order, this was my Goosebumps yarn I'm finishing up for some project. It's some of the sparkle, and you definitely don't want to go like too crazy putting the sparkle in. And you will of course end up with it all over your pants, but you can put it back in what you're doing over there. But the way I add this in is in the fluffy part. I just kind of press a little bit, and then as you're pulling it back and drafting, like a little bit of it gets caught up in there, and then you can kind of smooth most of that down with your fingers. And then, like I said, you do end up with it kind of on your pants, which kind of works, because then you can just kind of pick it back up and put it back in there. But like I said, it's in the drafting process of the pulling forward and pulling back. When you get to the part, they kind of, and you don't want to use too much sparkle or it gets crazy, but the little bit of that Firestar will get caught up in your spinning if you want to add some sparkle in. So you just kind of keep placing it back up where you want it to be. And that's how you add a little bit of sparkle in. I actually, like I said, this is going to be a 2-ply yarn, and so I am just putting sparkle, because I like sparkle, but I don't want it to be like crazy sparkle. So I've already spun the first half here on this bobbin, and I didn't put any sparkle in that, and I'm putting just some in this half, and then when I 2-ply them together, you know, you'll have just that little hint of sparkle, which I think will be cool. And if you have a hard time getting your singles even, I do really recommend, and this is in my spinning course too, stripping out the fiber or going through and pre-drafting like this, because the more that you kind of process the fiber and pre-draft it or strip it out beforehand, and so you can roll this around and get some of that sparkle, and now the sparkle is just kind of in there, so that'll work out. But the more kind of pre-prep work you can do, and I'm sorry, I have sneakers on, it keeps messing up my treadle here. But the more you can kind of prep it ahead of time, the less you're having to like maneuver it while it's spinning. And I feel like for beginners, that's especially helpful. So that way, see, it's pretty easy to keep a nice, even single. So I do recommend going through and pre-drafting. And shameless plug, I do have a spinning course on our website. And I don't know, I'm debating there is a 20% off coupon that I just assume everyone will use because it's on our site. Like, why wouldn't you use the 20% off coupon? But I'm considering maybe just dropping the price and then making it where you can't use the coupon, because like I don't want people to be confused. And man, y'all don't even know, like, little behind the scenes, trying to price something like that is ridiculous, because the fiber world, like even trying to price yarn is ridiculous, because I feel like you can get on Etsy or anywhere else and you can find somebody selling hand spun from anywhere from like $12 to like 70. And it's very hard to be like, well, I want my things to have value, and like I did put a lot of like work and time and money into it, so like $12 is probably too cheap. But then I don't know, I didn't grow up with like tons of money, so I don't want to be charging people like $70 either. So I had the same problem when trying to price both the drop spindle course and the other one. Is I'm like, well, I did spend a year making it, but I don't want it to be crazy expensive, but I don't want to be giving it away either. And then trying to look at like anything that was on the market that would be similar, like for a comparison, was just bananas. So I don't know, feel free to comment below if you think it would be better to just go ahead and discount the price 20% and then make it where the coupon doesn't work, or if you think leaving it where it's a higher price for like price point perspective, but then be like, yo, there's this coupon. Because it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm still figuring that out. But, like I said, so this is what I'm working on today while I procrastinate doing all the laundry and picking up all the Halloween. I think my phone is telling battery dying, so I should probably stop filming. But I hope everybody's having a good day, and I don't know if you have any specific spinning questions. I'm going to be doing a video. I just had to get this off the wheel. I'm going to be doing a video on lock spinning, which has been requested multiple times, and I bought some locks from a local fiber artist. So I'm going to be doing I attempt to do lock spinning video. And I'll probably do like a free live version, and then I'll probably do a more specific step-by-step one and just add it to the aforementioned course. And I am also going to be there's a technique called spinning from the fold, which is another one of those things that I was like, cool, I didn't know that was a thing. That's just how I was doing that all along. So apparently there's a hand technique called spinning from the fold, and I'm going to be doing a video on that. When I just couldn't do it with this fiber on this wheel, and I already had this fiber on this wheel, so that's what today was going to be. So anyhow, stay tuned. If you have any specific, hey, I want to know how to do that, or this is a question, or whatever, leave it in the comments below. Oh, and my husband says I'm supposed to remind everybody that you're supposed to like and subscribe to these videos. I never say that, because when I started doing this, I didn't think anybody was actually watching them. And, yeah, I don't know, I guess that helps. He watches lots of YouTube videos on like barbecuing and weightlifting and such, and so he's always like, you gotta tell people they gotta like and subscribe your videos. So hit that thumbs up button if you like these videos. And I think or subscribe. I think the general idea with that is that if you do that, then YouTube thinks that people like these, so then if somebody searches for like crazy woman makes yarn, then they'll be like, well, these are the ones that people like for that, and they'll show those to them first. So I believe that's what the idea is it's not just to make me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside, but it's to help these videos get found and other people like them. So anyhow, please like and subscribe these videos. And have a good day. And I think my phone's dying, so off to clean the kitchen. Yay!